When the child screams for help, 30 bikers parked outside. What happened next was incredible. Jake sat at a booth in the diner, his weathered hands cradling a mug of coffee that had long gone cold. His daughter, Lily, sat across from him, her eyes downcast, tracing the rim of her plate with her finger. The clatter of forks and the hum of conversations faded into a dull background. Jake's heart tightened. He could see the drumbeat of sadness in her little face, the way her smile had dimmed lately, burdened by unkind words from her classmates. Just that week, she'd come home in tears, whispering how they called her a charity case, making Jake's chest ache with shame and helplessness. It was meant to be a small treat, a little escape from their economic challenges. But the diner felt like a weight pressing on them tonight, each corner echoing the disconnect that lingered in their world. As they shared a slice of pie, the laughter of nearby families starkly reminded them of what they didn't have. And then, it happened. In a moment of sheer vulnerability, Lily's small voice broke the noise, a cry that pierced the thick layer of discomfort crowding their diner. "I wish I could just be normal." It echoed like a distant gunshot, freezing everyone. Unbeknownst to them, just outside, a convoy of 30 motorcycles roared into view. The ground trembled beneath the weight of the engines, and the large bikers stepped off their gleaming machines, leather-clad and imposing but with eyes that held stories of their own. As they entered the diner, a wave of apprehension washed over the patrons, gripping their coffee cups tighter, as if to shield themselves from the unfamiliarity. But instead of intimidation, compassion took the stage. The bikers gathered around Lily, pushing past the initial barriers. One of them, a gentle giant with a wild beard and a heart tattooed on his arm, knelt beside her. "Hey there, little lady. You're among friends," he said, his voice deep but soothing, like an anchor in a storm. "We've all felt like outsiders at some point. You're tougher than you know." Lily looked up, bewildered yet intrigued. The transformation in her demeanor was palpable, a flicker of hope ignited in her eyes as the bikers shared their own stories of being bullied and ostracized, tales of resilience that kissed every ear in the diner. Adults seemed to lean in closer, recognizing the swell of unity these rugged strangers were creating. Jake straightened, heart pounding as he realized it wasn't just Lily needing help, it was him as well. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." As the bikers took over the diner, they breathed life into what had felt like a stifling room. Conversations shifted, the air thick with enthusiasm rather than judgment. Laughter erupted. Jake found himself swept in, feeling a surge of confidence. The bikers offered to host a charity event, a festival rallying the town to address issues of bullying and unite behind Lily. It felt like a lifeline. With the event drawing near, tension crackled in the air. Would the townsfolk rally around a little girl overshadowed by hurt? Or would fear and misunderstanding continue to weave through the fabric of their small town? The answer hid beneath the surface, elusive. Jake stood, watching Lily as she made friends with a biker, a timid smile lighting her face, yet uncertainty knotted in his stomach. Could they really change the dynamics of Willow Creek forever? With the roar of motorcycles revving in the background, hope hung in the air, daring him to dream of a different tomorrow. The days blurred together as the charity event approached. Flyers were tacked up around town, vibrant colors splashed across local businesses, promising an afternoon filled with music, food, and stories of resilience. Jake watched as Lily became increasingly involved, her laughter rising like a melody from the depths of anxiety. She was planning games, meeting with the bikers who had taken her under their collective wing, and even starting to believe in herself again. But Jake felt the weight of apprehension creeping back. He remembered childhoods flung open in laughter but marred by lingering whispers. What if his daughter's fragile journey was met with the same scorn? Every day, new voices told him the town would never change. The same people who had always whispered would be lurking in the shadows, ready to pounce again. As the sun hovered low in the sky, painting everything in golden hues, Jake found himself at the event site. The grass was freshly cut, the stage set up for the local band, and tables were spread out, adorned with gifts and prizes. Jake's heart swelled, but so did his fears. He gazed at Lily, spinning around in circles with a band of her newfound biker friends. They cheered her on, their rugged faces softened by smiles, their laughter echoing through the air. But in that moment of joy, his gaze shifted to the perspective of the town. A small group of parents strolled by, exchanging glances, their children following closely behind. His heart lurched. What would they say? What seeds of doubt were they nurturing? The ambience buzzed with the excitement of families arriving, yet he sensed a storm lingering on the horizon. Just then, the biker with the heart tattoo approached Jake, his presence as comforting as it was imposing. "Hey, you alright?" His gravelly voice cut through Jake's racing thoughts. "I'm scared, I guess," Jake admitted, his shoulders sagging slightly. "What if they don't accept her? What if—" "Listen," the biker interrupted, crouching next to him so their eyes met. "You can't control how others act. All you can do is support her. Look at how she thrives now, surrounded by friends who see her for who she truly is. Just remember that at this moment, love wins over everything else." Jake took a deep breath, letting hope weave through the trepidation. He glanced at Lily again, a picture of joy and confidence. The laughter that filled the air touched his heart, and the knot in his stomach loosened just a bit. As the event kicked off, cheers roared from all sides. Families mingled with bikers, children darted from game to game, and sweet laughter danced through the atmosphere like fireflies. In a remarkable twist, those who once watched from the sidelines began to step forward, forming new friendships, drawn by the warmth these bikers had ignited in the community. But amidst all the excitement, as the sun began its descent, Jake caught sight of a familiar figure lurking in the distance. A boy from Lily's school, flanked by a couple of friends, whispered and pointed in their direction. Jake's heart sank. Would this be the moment they'd seek to bring her down again? Before he could intervene, the boy started walking toward them, eyes narrowing, a storm brewing behind those innocent features. Jake's breath caught. Could everything they had built in this brief moment unravel? As the boy approached, anticipation hung thick in the air, threatening to pull everyone back into the darkness of hurt. What would he say? Would he rise up and hurt Lily yet again? Jake stood frozen, caught between innocence and cruelty as the music blared on, the moment swelling with tension. What was the boy about to unleash? Would his words carry the same weight as they once did, or would this day mark a turning point for everyone in Willow Creek? The boy strode towards them, a slow, deliberate march that seemed to stretch time. Jake felt the laughter and joy around him dull, like a distant dream fading into shadows. Each step the boy took ripped through Jake's resolve, his heart pounding harder with each impending word. The atmosphere, thick with excitement just moments before, now felt like it was holding its breath, waiting to see what this could mean. Lily, still caught up in her whirl of laughter, turned to look at the boy, her smile faltering as those familiar faces approached. She stayed still, uncertainty washing over her features. Jake wanted to pull her close, shield her from whatever was coming, however he knew he had to let her face this alone. This was her moment, her battle. "Hey, freak!" The boy finally shouted, voice slicing through the air like a knife. The laughter around them stilled, replaced by an awkward hush that fell like a blanket. Jake felt his fists clench, a protective instinct flaring to life. He glanced at the bikers nearby, towering figures, their expressions shifting from jovial laughter to something more serious. They could sense the change in energy too. But Lily, standing there, inches away from the storm, took a deep breath. "What do you want?" she asked, her voice steady but quiet, a calm center amidst the chaos. The boy hesitated. His bravado faltered for a brief second. But the moment passed, and he shifted, flanking himself with his two friends, trying to regain control. I just wanted to see what the bikers are doing with you. Are they teaching you to be more of a loser? His laughter was forced, desperate to sound tough, but it echoed hollow, bouncing off the uncertain crowd. Jake's heart ached as Lily's face fell. Instead of retreating, she stood taller, her shock morphing into something stronger. They're my friends, she said. They love me for me, not because I fit in your little box. There was a ripple among the bystanders, a faint whisper of approval as they witnessed Lily's courage. The boy squinted, trying to regain dominance. Whatever, you don't really think you belong with them, do you? The bikers exchanged looks, a silent communication flowing through them, a bond formed through shared battles. One of them, the heart-tattooed biker, took a step forward, arms crossed, his deep voice commanding. You don't know her story, kid. You don't know what she has been through. Lily's eyes sparkled with courage, reflecting the bond she now felt with this unlikely crew. You don't get to decide who I am. Jake felt a swell of pride course through him like warmth. The people around them began to murmur, and for the first time, Jake could see the tide shifting. The same parents who had once whispered now stood closer, intrigued and inspired. Some leaned in, drawn by the uneasy power struggle unfolding before their eyes, others whispering words of support to each other. The boy, realizing his hold was slipping, took a step back. Whatever, he muttered, shuffling away like a wounded animal. His friends followed, glancing back with uncertainty, as if questioning their own decisions. As they retreated, the tension broke. Applause erupted, first coming from the bikers but soon spreading throughout the crowd, a wave of sound that filled the air with acceptance. Jake felt tears prick at his eyes. The event, once tinged with fear, had transformed into something incredible. Lily had stood her ground, and in doing so, had sparked something in her community. The bikers cheered for her, their faces glowing with pride. You showed them, girl. One shouted, pulling her into a bear hug. Lily laughed, a sound of sheer delight that rang out, cutting through the tension that had strung so tight moments before. Jake wrapped his arms around her, pulling her close, feeling the heat of triumph radiate from her. But as celebrations rang out, Jake caught sight of another figure emerging in the distance. A woman, holding a camera, her expression inscrutable, documenting every moment. What was her intent? Would she be there to support, or to stir trouble? The jubilation wavered slightly in Jake's heart. Who else was watching? What would come next as the darkness finally met the light? Lily felt alive. Surrounded by the cheers and laughter, it was as if the world had shifted on its axis. The fear that had knotted in her stomach slowly uncoiled. She took in the faces around her, illuminated by newfound respect. But as Jake held her tight, the presence of that woman with the camera loomed in the back of her mind. Look over there, Jake, she whispered, pulling away a little. What is her deal? Jake's eyes followed hers, landing on the woman who focused her lens on them with a relentless determination. I don't know. But it doesn't feel right. As they watched, she stepped closer, her intent clear as she began snapping photos, capturing every jubilant moment, every raw celebration. To Jake, it almost felt predatory, as if she was waiting for the perfect shot where the happiness would turn sour again. Hey, let us not worry about her. We should celebrate. Lily replied, wanting to shake off the feeling that now clung to them. She turned back to the bikers, her smile wide as they jumped into the festive atmosphere, racing bikes revved in the air. One of the bikers, an older woman with wild curls and a leather vest covered in patches, pulled Lily aside. You did good, kid. You stood your ground. You were brave. Thanks, Lily said, warmth flooding through her. I wasn't going to let him win. The woman nodded, her eyes fierce. A lot of people won't understand your choice to be different. But remember, strength isn't just in standing up against the bullies, it's about embracing who you are. Meanwhile, Jake stood back, watching the scene unfold. Despite his initial instincts to protect her, he realized he was witnessing a transformation. They had come to be a part of this community, and now it seemed as if the community had come together for Lily. It was a moment he'd never forget. Lily excitedly returned to Jake's side, and they moved deeper into the throng, immersing themselves in the beats of the music, the heavy air tinged with the aroma of barbecued food. Laughter echoed all around, and as she swayed to the rhythm, it felt as if everything bad had vanished. Yet, as the night deepened, a different energy began to pulse through the crowd. Conversations turned tense as glances flickered back toward the woman with the camera. People whispered, exchanging uncertain notes that soon began to draw attention again. Jake felt a shift in his gut. "We should probably keep an eye on her," he murmured to Lily, who nodded, her brow furrowing. "Something doesn't feel right. I can sense it." But just then, the sharp report of a car horn cut through the jubilant noise. A dark SUV pulled up near the edge of the crowd, windows tinted, the door swinging open to reveal a man in a suit, face obscured by shadows. The laughter faded, and unease filled the air like smoke. "Do you think?" Jake started, but he wasn't sure what conclusion to draw. "Whatever it is, we need to find out. Now." Lily took a step forward, determination etched across her face. Jake squeezed her hand. "Are you sure?" "Yes. We can't bury our heads in the sand now." With Lily leading the charge, they started toward the SUV, hearts pounding and a sense of foreboding wrapping around them. Every step felt heavy, the laughter falling silent behind them. Whatever was unfolding, it felt much bigger than the two of them. The man in the suit began to scan the crowd, eyes locking onto Lily. An unsettling smile stretched across his face. Jake felt his heart race. What could this man want? Who was he? Lily's grip tightened on Jake's hand as they moved closer. The atmosphere shifted, bringing an electric charge that made every hair on the back of Jake's neck stand up. They needed answers and fast. What would the man say? What did he want? Lily's heart raced as she and Jake approached the man in the suit. Its fabric looked expensive, sharply contrasted against the leather and denim of the bikers around them. Shadows cloaked his features, but Lily could feel his gaze boring into her, dissecting her. "Who are you?" she called out, voice steady, but the tremor betrayed her calm facade. He stepped forward, almost nonchalantly, like he didn't have a care in the world. "Just a concerned citizen," he replied, voice smooth but cold, like ice sliding down her spine. "You've been quite the topic of conversation tonight." Jake clenched Lily's hand tighter. "What do you mean topic of conversation?" The man chuckled softly, shaking his head. "You wouldn't understand. But you may want to be careful about where you choose to stand your ground." He gestured vaguely to the crowd, and for a brief moment, the celebration felt like a distant echo. Lily shook her head, determination fueling her. "What are you implying?" "Let's just say," he leaned in closer, "not everyone appreciates how bold you've been. You're stirring trouble." Behind him, the woman with the camera moved closer, snapping a few more photos, capturing this bizarre encounter that sent a shiver down Jake's spine. Were they making a spectacle of Lily? As if she were some prize to be claimed or discarded? "You're just a bully in a suit," Jake couldn't help but interject, firmness in his tone but fear coiling in his chest. "Get out of here, or I'll make sure everyone sees who you really are." The man raised an eyebrow, unfazed. "You think they believe you? I can make you disappear in this crowd." As the tension thickened, the laughter around them faded completely. The festive atmosphere was being eclipsed by this impending confrontation. The bikers had turned too, curious eyes shifting toward the SUV. "Lily," Jake whispered, urgency flashing across his face. "We need a plan." But she was already taking the lead. She stepped closer, emboldened. "What do you want from me?" "Just to warn you. You have no idea who you're dealing with." His voice dropped, gravelly. "Keep your head down. Leave things alone, and you'll be fine. I won't hide, she shot back defiantly. I've spent too long living in fear. Today was about standing tall. Lily's voice rang through the crowd, igniting whispers among the bikers. It was a call to arms, a flare in the night. They drew closer, sensing the shift in energy, fueled by her courage. You see, the man smirked, his confidence wavering against the growing crowd. Bravery gets you nowhere. The world doesn't reward the bold, it punishes them. Maybe, she replied, chin held high, but I'd rather face punishment than be a prisoner to fear. Suddenly, the older biker who had previously encouraged Lily stepped forward, her presence commanding the respect of the crowd. You don't scare us, she declared, eyes locked onto the man. Not one bit. You can leave, or we'll make you leave. Cautiously, that peculiar smile faded from the man's face. It was the collective force of the community, all standing behind Lily, that seemed to shift the air. But the tension was still palpable. Jake glanced around, searching for any signs of trust, yet the fear was apparent. Would they stand together against this man and his threat? Jake's heart pounded, not just from fear, but from hope. Would they really fight back? Here's what I'm going to do, the man said defiantly, straightening his tie. I'll let you enjoy your little celebration for now. But you'll wish you had listened to my warning. Without another word, he stepped back into the shadows, the looming threat hanging tight in the air. Lily took a deep breath, heart racing with adrenaline. She had stood her ground, but at what cost? The laughter began to stir again, a hesitant revival, yet dread weighed heavily on her. The murmurs rippling through the crowd felt more like a warning than a comfort. Jake pulled her closer, his eyes searching hers, asking the questions they both feared. What now? Lily didn't answer. Instead, she watched the crowd, feeling the heavy anticipation settle in. 1. Battle had been won, but the war felt like it was just beginning. Could they truly hold the line against this new threat? As they turned back towards the crowd, a scream pierced the night. What had just broken that fragile peace? The scream echoed through the air, sharp and piercing, slicing through the remnants of laughter and chatter. Silence fell like a curtain, drawing every eye to the source of the terror. In the distance, near the edge of the parking lot, a child stood alone, arms flailing, face contorted in fear. Jake's heart sank as he instinctively moved forward, leaving Lily behind for just a moment. Stay here, he shouted, pushing through the crowd as the bikers began to murmur, nervous glances darting between Lily and the scene unfolding. What is going on? Lily called after him, panic rising in her chest. She wanted nothing more than to rush after Jake, but something told her to stay put. A feeling she couldn't shake, a sensation that danger still lurked nearby. As Jake approached, he recognized the child. It was a girl from the neighborhood, one he sometimes saw playing with her friends. She was trembling, her voice trembling more as she screamed again, "He took my puppy. He took my puppy." Tears streamed down her cheeks, each sob pulling at the heartstrings of everyone watching. Jake knelt down to her level, trying to catch her breath, but she moved back, fear clouding her little eyes. "Who took your puppy?" he asked gently, keeping his voice steady. The crowd was starting to pulse with energy, anxious confusion bubbling in the air. A man in a black car. He just grabbed him. Then he sped off. Each word was punctuated by gasps from those gathered around her, the bikers inching closer while keeping a safe distance. It was then that Lily felt a surge within her. The image of that man in the suit flashed through her mind, and dread settled. The warning he hadn't wanted to share was now crystal clear. What if this was the culmination of his threat? Everyone! She shouted, projecting her voice over the mounting chaos. We need to help her. We need to find that puppy. Jake looked behind him, relief blooming when he saw her spirit reigniting the crowd. Without hesitation, the older biker who had stood by Lily before stepped forward, eyes fierce and determined. All right, listen up. She bellowed, rallying the others with confident authority. "We've got a kid in trouble. Who's ready to ride? We move fast, no time to waste." A roar of engines filled the evening air as the bikers turned, responding to the call like warriors answering a rally. Anticipation electrified the crowd with a palpable energy, and in that moment, their fear transformed into focus. "Jake, can you get the girl to safety?" Lily called, her heart racing not just for the child, but for Jake's safety too. "I'll help organize the search." With a nod, he took the little girl's hand, offering her some comfort as they navigated away from the thickening tension. But as they moved, Lily's gaze remained locked on the bikers, who were revving their engines, strategizing routes to cover. "Anyone here know that area?" The biker leader called out. "We need eyes everywhere." Hands shot up. A few locals began sharing details, their voices becoming more confident as the urgency mounted. The once celebratory atmosphere had turned into a mission fueled by hope. Each biker couldn't just ride for the girl, they were there to protect their own. Lily could feel the tide shift, this community was not going to let fear rule their lives. But deep inside, uncertainty clawed at her. What if the man in the suit wasn't done? As the engines rumbled to life, and the bikers set off into the night, Lily held her breath, knowing they were riding into a storm, but was it one they could weather together? With one last glance at Jake and the girl, who were now standing safe, she whispered to herself, "Please let this work." But as she turned back toward the chaos, the dark silhouette of a car slinked away from the edge of the parking lot. Had they already lost the trail? What lay ahead was unknown, and danger still lingered. But they had a chance. And against all odds, they weren't backing down. The roar of engines faded into the distance, leaving an unsettling silence in the parking lot. Lily stood frozen for a moment, the weight of the impending task pressing against her chest. The uncertainty of it all gnawed at her mind. How could they ensure the safety of that little girl? How could they bring her puppy back? Jake led the girl away from the crowd, towards the quieter side of the lot. He kept glancing back, the anxiety etched on his brow. "What's your puppy's name?" he asked gently, hoping to draw her out of her fear, wanting her to focus on something hopeful. "Buddy," she whispered, clutching her toy tightly to her chest like it was a life raft in a storm. "Buddy? That's a good name," he encouraged, attempting to coax a smile from her tear-streaked face. "We'll find Buddy, I promise. You're brave, right?" She nodded, but the tremors in her hands told a different story. Lily surveyed the remaining crowd, a mixture of fear and determination settling in. The bikers had a plan now. She could see them talking animatedly, gesturing like they were conducting a military operation. There was strength in numbers, a power that stirred something deep within her. "Everyone, listen up," Lily called out, regaining the crowd's attention. "We need to divide into groups. Some can head into town, others should check the back roads. We'll cover more ground that way." The locals nodded, their eyes sharp, purpose igniting within them. They scattered, and Lily could taste the anxiety in the air. She remained where she was, a beacon for Jake and the girl. Time stretched and bent as she waited, heart pounding with the urgency of the moment. Suddenly, a voice cut through the din. "This way." It was the biker leader, her sturdy frame moving with purpose. A few bikers had made their way back, rock-solid determination painted across their faces. "We spotted a car matching the description down by the creek. We think it's still moving." Lily's heart raced at the energy surging back into the crowd. She felt it calling her. There was a chance. It wasn't over yet. "Jake! We need to get to the creek," she shouted, urgency breaking through her calm demeanor. He returned, the girl holding tight to his side, eyes wide and fearful. "What do we do?" Jake asked, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his expression. "Stay close to me," Lily instructed, feeling the strength of her voice guide them. "We can't let fear win. Not now." They joined the thrumming march forward, a diverse group converging on a single goal. Each footfall resonated with a heartbeat of shared resolve. It was more than just retrieving a puppy now, it was about reclaiming safety, hope, and unity in the face of chaos. As they reached the edge of the creek, the sounds of rushing water filled the air. Shadows flickered in the darkness, and Lily peered into the depths. She gasped, noticing something small tangled in the brush. "Is that?" Jake started, dread creeping into his voice. A flicker of movement caught her eye, and she squinted. It was Buddy. The little dog was struggling, a mass of fur caught on branches. "Buddy!" The girl shrieked suddenly, breaking free from Jake's hold, adrenaline pushing her forward. "No!" Jake shouted, but Lily was already moving. She raced to catch the girl, ready to pull her back if necessary. The puppy was clearly scared and confused, but Lily's instincts kicked in. She could see the fear in the dog's eyes mirrored in the girl's, a deep connection forged through shared trauma. "Stay with me," she urged softly, kneeling before Buddy as he thrashed, trying to escape. "You just need to trust me. I want to let you get hurt." The girl watched wide-eyed, bewildered yet enraptured. With careful hands, Lily reached forward, feeling the slick desperation of the puppy against her fingers. As she worked to free him from the branches, a sudden noise pierced the air, the low growl of a car engine, rumbling closer, violent and powerful. The comforting moment shattered, dread creeping back into her mind. They weren't alone. It wasn't just Buddy at stake anymore. Could they confront the darkness that echoed behind them? Would they have the strength when it mattered most? The creek seemed to darken beneath the gathering storm as the car's headlights pierced the night. Lily held her breath, pulse racing. What they faced next would determine everything. The headlights sliced through the gathering darkness, illuminating the shore with a harsh brilliance. Lily's heart raced. She glanced back, meeting Jake's wide eyes, the girl hovering close to him, clutching her toy with a white-knuckled grip. "Stay behind me," Lily instructed, keeping her voice steady as she shifted her attention back to Buddy, whose whimpers grew louder with each terrifying moment. The engine noise grew dangerously close, drowning out the sound of the rushing creek. "Lily, we can't just stand here," Jake urged, tension tightening his voice. "What if they shoot?" she whispered, cutting him off. Fear danced in the air, responding to the rumbling engine. The threat felt like a weight pressing down on all of them. "Buddy, just hold on. I'm coming." She resumed her efforts, fingers working quickly to disengage the pup from the wild tangle. Each swift movement seemed to echo against the oppressive quiet, broken only by the growl of the car. A figure emerged from the vehicle, cloaked in shadows. The headlights cast an unsettling glow, revealing someone tall and solid, their face obscured. Panic surged in Lily. Who were they? Were they the ones who took Buddy? Suddenly, an arm shot out and the loud crack of a flashlight flooded the area, illuminating the standing figures in the creek. The girl shrieked in fear, drawing closer to Jake, who instinctively stepped ahead, shielding her. "Stop right there!" Jake yelled, finding his voice, even as every instinct screamed at him to retreat. "Easy, kid," the figure said, their voice rough, yet somehow calm. "We're just looking for a lost puppy." It was a voice they hadn't expected. The darkness around them seemed to still. Lily straightened, the weight of uncertainty shifted slightly. You're not here to hurt anyone?" she stammered, hope flickering cautiously in her chest. "Yeah, right," the stranger replied. "Name's Eric. We heard about the puppy from some friends earlier. We're here to help." Behind him, a line of bikers stepped out from the shadows, all fierce looks softened by concern. Each person was aware of the stakes, their eyes sharp yet ready to act. "We've got your back," another said, the camaraderie echoing among them. "Can you help free him?" Lily asked, urgency returning. Her hands continued working, fingers entangled in the fur of Buddy, as she spotted his sweet brown eyes pleading for escape. Of course, Eric stepped forward, guiding his flashlight to the mess of branches. "Let me help." With teamwork, the crew worked diligently, hands recreating the comforting grip of the moment. The sounds of rustling leaves and muted whimpers filled the air, but hope began to bloom as they slowly, laboriously freed Buddy from the grips of his prison. Finally, with one last tug, Buddy was free. He stumbled into the waiting arms of the girl, her face transforming with joy as she wrapped her little arms around him, burying her face in his fur. "Buddy! You're safe!" she cried, her voice breaking, overwhelmed with relief. Jake exhaled a breath he'd been holding, turning to the men and women around him, filled now with gratitude. "Thank you. We didn't know what we were going to do just then." The distant engine noise rippled the air again, accompanied by the sudden roar of laughter from the throaty bikers. They stood, a solid ally behind them, a protective force amid the chaos. "Let us get you all somewhere safe," Eric suggested, glancing toward the creek. The organization of the group was already picking up, planning their way forward. As they prepared to move, Lily turned back to the creek, the shadows swirling now with a different anticipation. "Wait," she said softly, a sense of dread creeping back. What if there were more dangers lurking nearby? "Let us keep moving." Jake's hand found hers, grounding her as they stepped away from the water's edge. But what if they weren't entirely safe? Could they trust this newfound alliance? A question loomed in the air, heavy and unspoken. What else awaited them in the darkness? Lily took a deep breath, her instincts still on high alert. Even with Buddy safe, the darkness felt thick, wrapping around them like a cloak, filled with unseen threats. She watched the bikers begin regrouping, the way they shared quick glances and hushed murmurs tightened her stomach. She had so many questions, but they would have to wait. Safety first. "Simon, let us go," Jake urged, gently pulling her toward the path that led away from the creek. The little girl kept Buddy close, her laughter still bubbling over, contrasting sharply with the heavy atmosphere. As they moved, Eric and the bikers forged a protective line, some scanning the woods while others stayed alert for encroaching danger. The sound of engines revving gave a reassuring buzz, like a heartbeat echoing through the night. They formed an unlikely coalition, adventure and uncertainty boiling just beneath the surface. Lily felt Jake's hand squeeze hers tighter. "Do you think they really want to help?" he asked, glancing back at the group of bikers. "I hope so," she replied, trying to sound more confident than she felt. It was easy to assume the worst in a situation like this, but these men and women had just come to their aid. That had to mean something, right? "Hey, Lily!" called out Eric, his deep voice cutting through the tension. "We're gonna take the long way around. Keep your heads down and stay close." He nodded to the others, and they accelerated their pace, bikes roaring to life as they moved ahead. The path twisted through the trees, weaving in and out of shadow and moonlight. Lily remained hyper-aware of her surroundings, feeling the adrenaline coursing through her. What if the people who had taken Buddy were still out there, looking for them? Every rustle in the bushes, every snap of a twig seemed amplified. She clutched Jake's hand harder, forcing her breath to steady. The little girl, her tiny face still glowing with happiness, looked up at Jake. "Will we be okay?" she asked, her voice small and fragile. "Yeah," Jake assured her, though uncertainty flickered in his eyes. "We'll be okay. Just stick with us." They trudged on, and with every yard they covered, Lily started to feel a sliver of relief. Together, they were moving away from the creek, from whatever had threatened them. It was then that Eric raised a hand, signaling for everyone to stop. "Listen," he said, his voice low but firm. The air grew still, the laughter of the girl fading into uncertain silence. In the distance, faint but unmistakable, they heard the haunting call of a child helping hands now needed elsewhere. Lily's heart dropped. "Please, tell me we're not going back," she whispered. "We just got Buddy back. We can't." Just a minute, Eric interrupted, his face grim. The bikers exchanged tight glances. In that moment, a flicker of uncertainty passed among them, as if they were weighing the risk against the looming cries for help. What kind of trouble are we getting into now? Jake murmured, an uneasy look settling in. As the wails echoed in the night, Lily felt a swell of fear wash over her. They'd just escaped one nightmare. Did they really want to walk back into another? But even as doubt crept in, the sense of duty held strong. The bikers felt the urgency, too. We can't leave anyone behind, Eric said, determination firming his stance. Lily's mind raced. It felt reckless. It felt brave. And ultimately terrifying. They couldn't turn their backs on those cries for help, could they? With every instinct screaming in opposition, they had to make a choice. Would they dive into the unknown once again? A heavy question hung in the air as they stood rooted in uncertainty. How far could they go to save a stranger? The answer awaited them in the dark. As the chilling cries echoed through the trees, they ignited a fierce desire in Lily's heart. She knew what she had to do. We have to help them, she declared, her voice trembling yet resolute. Jake turned to her, eyes filled with apprehension. Lily, we just got back, buddy. What if it's another trap? What if they need us? She interrupted, her spirit igniting with determination. Staying silent won't get us anywhere. The bikers exchanged cautious glances, but soon, the older woman with the wild curls stepped forward, placing a steadying hand on Lily's shoulder. She's right. We already stood up against that man, now we have more people counting on us. With that, the next wave of unity surged through the crowd. There was strength in the shared knowledge of standing against harm, in the realization of their collective ability to face danger. The bikers nodded, determination restructuring the energy around them. Eric's voice was firm as he laid out a plan. We'll split into 2 groups. A couple of us will head back towards where the cries are coming from. The rest will stay here and protect Lily and the girl. No. Lily's voice pierced through the strategizing. I want to help. I need to help. Jake's heart sank, but knowing the fierce fire in Lily's spirit, he couldn't fight the spark shining in her eyes. If you're going, then I'm going, he declared with a surge of unexpected courage. Fine, but stay close to us, Eric said, a begrudging acceptance in his tone. As the groups formed, adrenaline pulsed through Lily's veins. They moved forward cautiously, alert to everything around them. Each step felt purposeful, each call for help grew clearer as they approached the source, their hearts beat as one, united in the mission ahead. The cries grew louder, they were heart-wrenching, filled with desperation. Suddenly, the ground beneath them felt alive, a palpable energy that enveloped each member. They couldn't falter now. Through the trees, they crept silently until the silhouettes of 2 boys came into view, standing above another child on the ground. They were leaning over a small figure. Shadows twisted in the darkness, creating an ominous backdrop for the scenario unfolding before their eyes. Lily's heart raced as they crept closer, her courage flowering, a sense of purpose anchoring her fear. Hey! She shouted, her voice piercing through the tension. Get away from him. The boys paused, heads snapping in their direction, eyes wide with surprise that quickly morphed into defiance. What are you going to do about it? One of them sneered, stepping closer to the child on the ground. With a rush of adrenaline, Lily felt the weight of fear push away, replaced by the strength of conviction. You should think twice before messing with little kids. We're not afraid of you. You're not tough, you're just bullies. That struck a chord. A ripple of nervous energy danced among the bikers, who stepped forward with her, forming an unwavering wall of solidarity. There was power in their numbers, the bullies faltered, confusion etching their features. And without hesitation, the strength of the moment pushed them back. The child on the ground, a boy no older than 10, was trembling, but he looked up as the group loomed above him. The bikers stood fierce and protective. You're safe now. Eric reassured. The two boys exchanged glances like a pair of trapped mice, unsure of what to do next. They took a step back, realizing they were surrounded by resilience and unity. "Whatever, man," one of them muttered before shoving the other. They both sprinted into the dark woods, disappearing into the night. Lily felt a profound silence wrap around them after their departure, mingling with the sounds of the night. The only noise now was the deep breaths of assurance, the crackle of hope igniting all around them. Jake knelt beside the boy on the ground, his eyes softening. "Are you hurt?" he asked gently. The boy shook his head, tears streaking his cheeks, relief flooding through him. "I thought," he broke off, voice trembling. "I thought I was done for." "Not on our watch," Lily said softly, a sense of pride swelling in her chest. As they led the boy back towards the racing hearts of the bikers and the waiting girl, they felt the mountains of fear crumble behind them. With every step toward the lights illuminating the area, each kid clinging to their freedom grew a little brighter, marking the importance of standing together against adversity. Lily glanced up into Jake's eyes, and in that moment, all her fear melted away, replaced by an unwavering belief that no matter how dark the world might seem, love and bravery would always shine through. The reunion was joyous. The band of bikers lifted the children up in celebration, hailing Lily's courage. Hope pulsed vividly in their laughter, flooding the air with the sweet scent of victory. As they celebrated together, Lily realized something profound: they weren't just a group anymore. They were a community, one forged through shared strength and compassion. In that instant, as Jeremy, the boy they rescued, clasped his small hand in hers, she felt an overwhelming sense of belonging wash over her. The darkness they had faced together had cemented their bond, and she knew, deep down, that they could face anything as long as they stood united. As the bikers revved their engines, the gathering of voices exploded with joy, carrying forward into the night. "Together, we'll protect this place," Eric shouted, the resounding agreement of the crowd echoing back. The warmth of community enveloped them. And in the fading light, with Buddy nestled safely in her arms and the heart of her town buzzing with renewed life, Lily understood that bravery wasn't just about facing fear, it was about fostering love and connection in moments of turmoil. Tonight, she had found her family's place in the world and a hopeful spark in her heart, ready to light the way ahead. And with that, as the stars twinkled overhead, each heartbeat echoed, they would embrace tomorrow, together. Now it's your turn. Subscribe immediately to our channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others find this story of hope. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. We want to hear from you. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to show your support right now. This is the moment to connect and uplift. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Let us spread this message.